Alright, what's going on, everybody? Got another gold guide video for you today. It's the Ram-7. Real quick before I get too far into the video, if you're wondering, you do not need to get the Ram golden if you're trying to get Damascus. But in order to get Damascus on the Ram, you need to get the Ram golden. But to get Damascus on all the vanilla guns, you do not need to get Damascus on, or not Damascus, you don't need to get gold on your Ram. I personally tested that, at least when I got my Damascus. I had the Holger. When I got my Damascus, I had all the guns, and at the time, Holger and the Ram were both out. I completed gold on the Holger, and then I got my Ram to 1 kill off from gold. I got Damascus, so I got Damascus for every gun, including the Holger, but I did not get it for the Ram. So I basically, for me, I just confirmed that, at least at the time of me getting Damascus, you would not get Damascus for the Ram until you got gold. Now with that out of the way, for anybody this is my first video, my first gold guide that you're seeing, I break down the guns into 4 different builds, at least for assault rifles, and those 4 different builds are going to cover different camo categories. I built them each specifically for certain camo categories, and then after those 4 builds, I have a Camo Requirements part of the video, which is where I put all the camo categories up. I tell you what you have to do to complete each one, what maps are the best to play on to get the challenges done, what variation of the maps, whether it's hardcore or core, what build from the video to use, and then any other tips and tricks that I had that I picked up along my way to Damascus. The video will probably be between 12 and 15 minutes long. I apologize for that, but I break down each attachment and the reasoning why I have it on the gun. So if you're just here for the quick build, the attachments, I have all the timestamps down below, so you can just quickly go to those parts of the videos, and then you can just copy it. But so getting into the first build, which will be the kills build. Alright, so here it is, the kills build. Again, if you've seen any of my other videos, this is basically just copy and pasted. What I use is use whatever optic you like the most. I like the GI Mini Reflex because of the thin frame. There's just the least amount of chance that you're gonna block somebody with the frame. So like if you're using, let's say, the holographic, it's got this massive frame around the sight itself. You could potentially hide somebody there, which I don't want to take the chance of. So I use a thin sight like the GI Mini Reflex. And then I also use the XRK close quarter stocks for playing hardcore, which is what I recommend you do all your camo challenges in a hardcore. Aim down sight speed and something like sprint to fire speed are extremely important to have, because it's going to allow you to get your gun up or allow you to aim down sight before your enemy, which, since it's only going to take 1 or 2 kills, or not kills, 1 or 2 hits to kill the person, you want your gun up, you want your sight, you want to aim down sight as quickly as possible. So with that in mind, Disciple grip tape. This is actually my favorite attachment in the game, because like I was just mentioning, these 2 pros are very important. Besides recoil control, these are probably the 2 most important pros in the game. So this grip is a no-brainer for me. The underbarrel, recoil control, which is, again, out of the top 3 pros in the game, I think it's recoil control, sprint to fire speed, and then ADS speed. So this is going to help you with your recoil control, and then it also helps with your hipfire accuracy in case you need to pick up some hipfire kills along the way. And then the 5mm laser, again, helps with your hipfire accuracy and your sprint to fire speed, just to help you out a little bit more. But that's actually it for the kills build, and now on to the hipfire build. Here's the hipfire build, pretty generic to all my other hipfire builds. Real quick, personally, I don't actually use the hipfire build. I usually get it done with the kills build. And the reason for that is there's only 2 attachments that are mandatory to have your hipfire accuracy as great or as small, like, you know what I mean? To have your hipfire crosshair as small as possible. And those 2 attachments are the laser and the underbarrel. So the laser, there's 2 lasers that actually help with your hipfire accuracy, that being the 5mm and the 1mm. The 5mm, which is currently equipped, as you can see, hipfire accuracy is increased, and also sprint to fire speed, which is another amazing pro for an attachment. Right here, you can see the increase to accuracy, and if I was to swap over to the 1mm, we take a look at the hipfire accuracy, it decreases. And it even says in the description right here, it just says improves hipfire accuracy. The 5mm says greatly improves somewhere. Where is it? Right here. Greatly improves hipfire accuracy. So if you're having trouble getting pre-fired around corners and you're dying to that a lot, you can swap to the 1mm, since the con of the 5mm is that it is visible to enemies where the 1mm is not. But I personally would recommend you just stick it out with the 5 milliwatt because it'll give you more pros than cons, more or less. And for the second mandatory attachment, for that hipfire accuracy is the underbarrel. The only attachment or the only underbarrel grip that's going to help you with your hipfire accuracy is this Merc 4 grip, and it also helps with recoil control. I go through real quick these other grips. As you can see, nothing for hipfire accuracy. Then there's the Merc, which does. Tactical, which does not. Ranger, does not. And Operator also does not. So, no brainer. Take the Merc 4 grip for that increased hipfire accuracy. Now, my second and third, my third and fourth attachments are always the extend mags and sleight of hand for hipfire, for the hipfire build. The reason for that being is if you're hipfiring, you're not going to be accurate really, so you're gonna have to shoot more. Having to shoot more, you're gonna want more bullets in your mag. That way you don't run out of ammo and you're able to secure that kill. So that's why you take extended mags. Now with that same logic, since you're shooting more, you're gonna be constantly draining those magazines. So you're gonna constantly want new ones in there. So you use sleight of hand to reduce that time that you're sitting there reloading. That way you don't get yourself killed. Then the last attachment is really just a filler attachment to make sure you have 5 out of 5 attachments so you can get that tiger camo challenge done. Since you're going for hipfire kills with this specific build stock, nothing here is going to help you with hipfire, so there's really no point at taking it. And then same with the optic, since you're not aiming. Barrel, and nothing's going to help you. Maybe the damage range and bullet velocity and recoil control stuff. But to me, I think the best for this last attachment would be the suppressors, because it is going to help with your damage range, although that's not really going to play a factor since you're playing hardcore. You're on such a small map, there isn't really a damage drop off. But sound suppression could save your life, because if someone can't figure out where you're shooting them from, it may give you 1 or 2 seconds maximum before they figure out where you are. So it may conceal you for just an extra second or two so you can get that kill. That's really it. That's it for the hipfire build, and then on to the reload build. Alright, so here's the reload build. Again, I don't think I actually used this build. I might have, now that I'm thinking about it, because I didn't use the sight. The iron sights are actually really good on this gun, so I kept the iron sights off to keep a fast ADS, because I always forget that you can ADS in this game while reloading. But for the so for the reload build, I'm using sleight of hand, of course, because you have to reload before each kill, so you want to make that time as small as possible. You can shoot that guy. So of course you want to use sleight of hand. Stapled grip tape's gonna help with your sprint to fire speed and also your ADS speed. Make sure if you're an idiot like me and you're not ADSing while reloading, it's just gonna help you ADS quicker after your reload. Merc 4 grip's gonna help you with that recoil, so when you're shooting the guy after, and then also with your hipfire accuracy in case the guy's in your face and you're just gonna hipfire him. XRK close quarter stock gun, it's gonna help with your ADS speed, and then the laser is going to help with your hipfire accuracy and your sprint to fire speed. But that's it. This is actually a pretty good build. You could also use this as a kills build if you wanted. What's the difference here? Oh, the kills build doesn't have kills build does have an optic instead of sleight of hand, but I think that's the only difference. But that's it for these 3 builds, and then now on to the Longshot. Alright, sorry if I was talking like an idiot. I had to sneeze real bad, so I was rattling off that last build as fast as I could. Alright, so here's the Longshot build. One important thing for the Longshot build is to make sure you have a smoke grenade on. That's extremely important because you're going to use a thermal or a night vision sight, whatever you have available to you. What I mean by that is the thermal sights are usually the last 2 unlocks, or they're usually close to the last unlocks for the gun. And since there's 64 levels on a gun, there's quite a time difference between unlocking these attachments. So you can either use the thermal sights, or if we scroll up, you can use the Solo Zero Night Vision Enhanced. Now, why I'm telling you to use these weird sights is because with that smoke grenade, I'm going to put a picture up on the screen right now. You're going to throw a smoke grenade over this wall to block out the mid lane. Let that smoke puff up a little bit. That way you can safely jump up on this wall that you see me standing on right here. You're going to mount your gun. That way you can also take advantage of getting your mounted kills at the same time as getting your long shot kills. You're going to look through that smoke with either your night vision or thermal sight. Anybody that's on that wall at the other end will count as a long shot kill, and if you're mounted, a mounted kill. They can also be just in front of that wall. That's also a long shot kill. But between that distance of that wall and the middle of the map, it will drop from a long shot to a close shot, just not a long shot. So keep that in mind. But this is just a really good way to keep yourself safe, but also be able to kill the guy and get your long shot and mounted kills. Now breaking down the rest of the attachments for the gun. They're really just going to play into aiming stability and damage range, although the damage range isn't a huge deal because you're playing hardcore, so it's basically just going to be a like 2-shot kill. So using the for the stock, you're going to use the F-Tac Equilibrium. It's going to help with your aiming stability to keep that crosshair as stiff as possible. Rear grip, granulated grip tape, aiming stability, and walking steadiness doesn't really matter since you're going to be mounted. When I was on that wall, I didn't even care about the left or right. If you care about your KD, then sure, look to your left or right. But I didn't want to miss the chance of picking up a long shot kill, so I just, even if it meant I was going to die to my left or my right, I just stared down mid lane and didn't look away. Merc foregrip is going to help with your recoil as well as your hipfire accuracy if you need it. But you're really just using it for the recoil control because you want it to be a laser beam when you're shooting out long distances. And then for the barrel, you're going to use the XRK Ranger. It's going to help with your recoil control as well as bullet velocity and damage range, which again don't play a huge factor on one shoot house in 2 hardcore. It's a small map. Damage range isn't really at all a factor. And bullet velocity, it's a small map again, so that bullet's not going to take time to get to that person. But that's it for the builds. I'm going to hop into the camo requirements and talk you guys through what you need to do. Alright, so now we're into the camo requirement part of the video. So just straight out of the gate, all I want to mention is I'm not going to keep saying the variant because of the game mode, because they're all going to be hardcore. It's just the easiest way to get these camos done. So all the variants are going to stay the same except for skulls, which you can also play ground war. So you have to play core. If you play ground war, there's no option between hardcore and core. So I'm just not going to keep repeating the variant over and over again. But getting into the first one, spray paint, you need 800 kills. The game mode you want to play is either shoot house or shipment. That way you get the most kills in those game modes, you run into the most fights. And then the weapon build, I would recommend using is kills build. Then woodland, you need 125 headshots. Again, play shoot house or shipment. And then same build, use the kills build. Now it might sound silly, I've said it before, but try and go in with a mindset of you want to specifically get headshots. You don't just want to get a kill, you want to get a headshot. Because in hardcore, if you're really just focused on hitting the head and you're shooting at head level, it's only going to take 1 shot to the head to kill somebody in hardcore. So I kept that mentality, and I was able to get a lot more headshots in my games. For digital, you need 160 crouching kills. Same thing, shoot house or shipment. You get the most kills that way. For crouch kills, I kept the mentality of I would spawn, and I would crouch right away, and I would play my entire life. If I was on shipment, that is. I would play my entire life crouching, I would never stand up. That way, any kill I got was a crouch kill. And then the weapon build you want to use is the kills build. For dragon, 75 hipfire kills. If you actually do digital and dragon together, you can get the increased hipfire accuracy by crouching. And then if you hipfire them, you'll get both a dragon kill and a digital kill. And then the weapon build, you can either use the hipfire or the kills build. If you're going to use the kills build, I recommend swapping off an attachment and putting on a 5 milliwatt laser. But you can use the hipfire build if you're specifically going for hipfire kills. For a splinter, you need 100 long shots. Again, you want to play specifically shoot house, not just because you can't get a long shot in shipment, I don't think. And then the variant, well, I said I was going to say the variants, but the variant's hardcore. And you want to use the long shot build of the FAL. If you're skipping straight to this part of the video, go back and watch the long shot build. I'll explain the playstyle of exactly what you want to do on shoot house to get all your long shot kills the quickest and the fastest. For topography, you need 100 mounted kills. Again, do the same exact thing as your long shots, because you'll be able to get a long shot and a mounted kill at the same time. And you could do it on shipment, but if you're going to go for your long shots and mounted kills at the same time, you need to be on shoot house. And then, depending if you're going on shoot house, use the long shot build. If you're going on shipment for your mounted kills, use the kills build. And then if you used any of the attachments, any of the builds in the video, they all have 5 attachments, so you'll be getting a tiger kill once you have that challenge unlocked. Doesn't matter what map either, oh, again, that's a mistake. Ground War shouldn't be there, it should be Shipment. But play on Shoe House or Shipment because you'll get the most kills in those game modes. And then you can use whatever build you want. I'd recommend the Kills build. For Stripes, you need 50 reload kills. Play on Shoe House or Shipment. And then the weapon build, you can use the reload build if you're specifically going for reload kills. Or if you're just using the Kills build, you could get it passively using that build. For Reptile, you need 110 kills with no attachments. Again, you want to play on Shoe House or Shipment. The same reason. Most kills, most fights. And then there's no weapon build because you need to use a bare bones gun. Then last but not least is Skulls. You need 35 3-kill streaks. And then you either want to play on Shoot the Ship, which is just Shipment or Shoe House. I just was saving space by saying that. Or Ground War. So if you're getting smacked around in Shoe House or Shipment, play Ground War. But I would definitely start out in Shoe House or Shipment because of the reason you're going to run into more people. So if you're playing Shoe House or Shipment, play Hardcore. And if you're playing Ground War, you have no choice, you have to play Core. Then the weapon build I would use would just be the Kills build. It'll work perfectly in both those game modes. I mean, if you're playing Ground War, maybe put on a higher magnification scope. But the GI sight should be fine no matter what. But that's actually it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, drop it a like. If you didn't, a dislike. I always feel weird asking for people to subscribe, although people have been subscribing, and for those that have, I get a notification on my phone whenever someone does. So I see you and I appreciate you. But I always feel weird asking for it, so I'm just going to put in a little clip here of Jev explaining that whole thing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.
Jev is such a lame. He used to mock people for asking for subscribers, and now that's all he does. It's like, dude, the analytics between a video where you tell somebody just adding, hey, can you subscribe, versus not. It's actually insane. It's literally a friendly reminder that you can subscribe. I ain't begging for shit. I got enough. But if you want to subscribe, I appreciate it.